Hello and welcome to another episode of Prototech Pursuit, and what is likely to be the final episode of Prototech Pursuit. As here we are, we're on the moon. We have one of each piece of Prototech. We have all of our various contraptions. We've got this is the large rover, our little miner. We have our what I think is going to be a floor plan for a museum. We have our little scout over here, the badger, and all of our contraptions and builds. The only thing we're missing is the cozy asteroid base, but that is okay. I can't really bring that here. That's on another area of the world. And so, today, no matter how long it takes, I'm going to get a museum built up here on the moon. I have laid out what I think is going to be an interesting area. I'm not sure how much space I want, and I'm not sure exactly what I want to put inside and what I want to put outside. So I think definitely all of the planetary things go inside. We're going to have our rover, right? I think that can go like smack dab in the middle as like a centerpiece. And then there's going to be stuff all around the outside, all the different pieces of Prototech, all the different other contraptions. Like, I'll have this thing. I can hang this thing from the ceiling somehow. I don't know. We've got the badger, and I'm probably going to pop back to a previous save and grab a copy of the trailer and bring the trailer here and put that in one of the spots, like spawn that in, you know, because it's part of the museum, part of the adventure. And then we have all of our different other contraptions. Oh, totally. I should go back and find a copy of this before I made it into the destroyer when it was just like my dropship. You know, bring that out here, copy it, and put it into place. Like the original miner before I upgraded it to the dually version. And then we have all the different bits of Prototech. And I went back. This took me a while. I got to dig my phone out here and go into a Google Doc that I made. And I went through and I figured out which episode I got every single piece of this Prototech. So if I go through here and I go to my Prototech encounters. So on episode 7, for example, I got my one and only frame of the playthrough when I took out an enemy base. And that ended up becoming the fusion reactor. And episode 16 was my first one, a bioresearch facility. I got a small refinery, this thing, and I got this assembler. So I have everything all laid out, so I know which ones came when, so I can put them in order. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a trip down memory lane. So I was thinking, having this as being the entrance, you got a nice wide walk up here, great big open area. I'm thinking of putting in like a little queue and some like kiosks here. And then you open up the door and it's going to be a nice, large, open room with, I'm contemplating like what's it called, a mezzanine, like a second level to it. So there could be like all these squares are 9x9 interiors. I have to believe, yes, because the 3x3 windows fit in perfectly. So they're 11x11 exteriors, 9x9 interiors. And I was contemplating maybe bringing in the sides like 5 or 7 blocks, and then I could have like a gallery all along the exterior up at the top. Oh, I'll show you what I mean, because I think this is going to look really good, because I do have 37, 38, including this episode, but I haven't made it yet, of thumbnails of all the different episodes, right? So somewhere along here, and I am going to clean up my GPS here. We don't need any of this stuff on. So much space. I was thinking right here off the side, we have some staircases, if I had any construction components. And then we have a little mezzanine around it. And we have all of our various bits of art there. And maybe like a listing like for each episode and the thumbnail and a description of what happened. That would be kind of fun. So if I start a staircase here, it'll get up to that height. And then I want to be able to double back this way so a person could walk back around. Right? And then also another staircase here. Yes, it fits. I like it. And I'm somewhat kind of designing this with the using a museum that I went to when I went and visited Space Engineers headquarters in Prague. I went to a military museum that was like this museum of like technical something. Like it was a technical museum where it had a bunch of there was some planes hanging off the ceiling, and there was a bunch of inventions from the past century and stuff like that. So it was all like different parts of technology and science, and they had like an entire area that was dedicated to like different types of cameras all throughout the years. And it was really interesting. And so I thought, oh, I really liked how the main area of that building, and maybe I'll try to pass along a photo to my editor that I took of that building, and we'll pop it in right here, of this big open space in the middle with a mezzanine, if I'm using that word correctly, basically just like a raised platform all around the outside at multiple levels that allowed you to look out over the interior and see all sorts of cool stuff inside, as well as be able to take a look at smaller exhibits around the exterior. Oh, but I wonder, I could make these full blocks, couldn't I? I think they're fine as full blocks. I was thinking I could make them half blocks, but I don't need to. I don't need to. Because what I'm thinking here, if I bring these out a few, and then I go and figure out my spacing, because I have 38, so I have to determine how many, like, per set of 9 here, because that's the first set of 9 right there, sort of thing. There's the first 9 blocks, and the next section. If I have a text panel, which is, that's a very good big piece of glass there. Text panel. I think that is the best way, or maybe wide LCDs. I think text panel is the best for the aspect ratio. I can put down a panel and have a thumbnail, and then like a thing to the side of it with a description, then a panel and a thumbnail, like that sort of thing all the way around. So I just got to do a quick calculation to figure out how many slots I'm going to need here. 1 second. All right, I did a little math. I think I figured it out. I have 38. Well, I'm going to have 38 thumbnails, right? Because including this episode. So that is 19 times 2. So what I could do here is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 along this side, which means I'll have 5 along that side. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 there, 5 there. We're currently at 20. total slots, spaces. So 19 of them would be taking out this entrance one. So it should work out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 times 2, we can just do 2 per. So when I come up to each little section here, cutting it in half is just putting a block right here. So each section is going to be 4 wide that I can talk about a single episode. So it'll be a text panel with the episode thumbnail, and then a regular old LCD panel, and I can write something in there. Or maybe just 2 text panels, because that might look better, because then they're sort of aligned. Yeah, let's take a look at what that looks like. Let's get that built up. And one temporary battery later, to give this thing a little bit of power, what I can do is I can use Whip's image converter. I can go into here, press K, text panel. We're going to go into the text and images, the edit text. We're going to set this to 0.1, and it is monospace. And then I Alt-tab over, I copy to clipboard, edit, paste that in here, and there is Prototech Pursuit, the first episode's thumbnail. Hell yeah! And then I can just write up a little thing here of being like, this is the first episode of Prototech Pursuit where I started on the adventure with the badger and all that sort of thing. And then we can just continue doing that all the way around. And we can have a nice little gallery. And then we have a little bit of space in between. These don't need to be full blocks. We could make these cool looking columns. Like so. Right? This could be... this area could just be too high. Could be 3 high, could be 2 high, however we want to do it. And we could potentially add another mezzanine layer above. But I'm not sure if I need to do that. I think I have this gallery going around the outside that's a couple blocks tall. And then we have a wall over top of that. And then we can do some more stuff. I think it'll look good. Okay, I have a plan. Let's get to work. All right, I've done some adjustments. I moved the staircases back by 1, so instead of being here, they're now here. I just made things work a little bit better for me up top. But I want to show you what it's like when you walk up there. When you go up here, and you're greeted with 2 text panels for each episode. I have done the first few episodes. I haven't written a description for each one of them yet. To be completely honest, I'm not going to be able to get that done in this episode, because just building this up and setting things in their locations and like just doing the structure is going to take the entire episode. And then what I'll probably do is like this, this episode's coming out on a Sunday, like maybe like the evening after this episode comes out, I'll get on a live stream and we can spend the entire live stream like doing descriptions and reminiscing about the series. That might actually be kind of nice to do. Nice, relaxed look back at the series. Maybe I'll play some of the episodes and like sort of scrub through them and be like, oh yeah, look at this. I remember the episode where we did this. Oh, that was fun, sort of thing. And then I can come up with the short paragraph that will describe each one of the episodes as we go around. And that'll be sort of our reminiscence of the series. But this is what it's going to look like. We're going to have the thumbnail, and then we're going to have a short description. So episode 1, the pursuit begins. We begin our adventure on a lush pertam with our trusty rover, the Badger. Heading off in search of various minerals, we upgrade our rover with a large grid conversion to allow us to refine those minerals while staying on the move. That's exactly what we did. And that's what we'll do for each one of these as we go along the entire thing. So you can see here we've got the production trailer and then the running on fumes where we had to stick that down into the water, the GPS for the river crossing. We still have that GPS. The bridge of death going across there. And our scouting drone, which is right over there. Just got to put that in position. The Gatling turrets. And then we'll continue going around. And I'm thinking that for width, for size, I mean, there's not going to be much else up here beyond this gallery. I'm thinking this just being 3 wide up here. With these separators being, I think, slopes like this, gives it a nice, cool-looking shape. And I think that's all I need. And then beyond that, it'll just be railings. We'll just go like this, and we'll railing straight all along this side of it. And that'll be that. Actually, potentially, what might look cool and be a bit nicer, because I can start to do some accoutrements and stuff. I can make this thing look good. If I get rid of these railings, I can do something like place an armor block, like a armor panel in these spaces. So say like here, I can place an armor panel, and I can place an armor panel every so often just to make sure there's multiple attachment points. And I can railing on the panel and then railing off the edges of the railings, right? So now all this railing is being held up by its connection to that panel. And then this is going to have to be a corner like that. Because then what I could do, my energy is low though, is I can put couches and things right up against the railing. That would look cool. And I could have it so there would be like a couch or whatever at every one, so you can sit and read the description if you want to. Oh, that's going to look good. All right. So I think that'll work. This will go all the way around, 3 blocks wide. It'll be the gallery where we have all of the thumbnails from each episode. There's going to be, I can put like planters, and I can put like couches and all sorts of stuff up here to make this thing look good. And now we can start to think about the gallery on the floor. So because that's going to determine how many slots we need all the way around, it sort of determines the size of the interior of the building. So this is going to be the building size, because that's going to be the correct amount of slots for every single thumbnail. So I need to get this guy into the building. Very good. Whoop, there we go. Up and in. Okay. So this thing is going to be right in the center of the room. So I have a bit of a choice here. I can leave this sitting in this space as a separate grid. And it can just sit there. I can probably like go onto it and make sure that it has like a reactor or something like that, and absolutely fill it with uranium. So it's not going to run out of power anytime soon. However, I could make it a part of the grid. I could either do a connector down here in the floor right here. Just plop a connector. And then whatever is here, replace that out with a connector. And then just sit the vehicle down a little bit and connect it. That could work. Or I could theoretically go into creative, which I am in creative now. I'm just playing around. And delete this block and then actually like make it a part of this grid, right? Instead of just connected to it. I think either or could work. But for now, this is where it's going to sit in the center of the room. We'll probably have some sort of like railing around it or something, I want to say. Actually, there is just enough. I could do that. What about back here? Does the thing go green on the side? It does. Oh, yeah, baby. I like that. You know what? Where's the corner? Where's the corner piece? Railing corner. Oh, it does turn green here. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Right at the corner of the tires. That's going to be where this thing's going to fit in. It is now locked in place. I will probably connect it up with just a connector to have it be part of the base. And so that potentially I could even use this ship as like one of the main ways that the base keeps its power on. And plus it's using this block space on the interior so I can put stuff right up to it on the exterior. And it'll work out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Potentially, also, I could have a staircase leading into the back of it. I wonder. If I put a staircase there and a block there, I'll have to change that block into something else that's a little smaller. Oh, it just barely doesn't. Oh, I have to move this thing. Can I move this thing forward like a tiniest little amount? The tiniest little amount. Oh, yeah, the stuff on the right is clipping. So I can put the staircase on the block itself, but not there. Besides, it wouldn't even really reach, would it? I bet it would be better if I do this. If I go staircase and then neon tubes down, because that is a great way to connect two staircases together. And then another staircase here. And then when I connect these two eventually, that will be a bit lower, and it'll be really easy for someone to just hop up really easily, and they can get inside and they can go and walk through the ship while it is still in its museum spot. So I can move this back to its centered location here. Let's get this thing connectored down, I believe. That would probably be one of the best things to do next. And then I can consider that exhibit at least built physically. Whoa, we're already getting a bit of magnetism. And we can see they're slightly off. Realistically, this whole thing should be shoved over. Oh god, I'm getting stuck on the tire. Should be shoved over slightly closer to this side. Because we're right up against the railings there, but we're not over there. So, oh, I wonder if I just go into my wheels and I just set their friction to 0. Is this magnetism going to be enough? And what if I give them a little bit of a hop? Huh. It moved. Oh, the magnetism is bringing it back. I love doing stupid things. Look, the magnetism pulled it in. And now we can raise it up. And that is much better centered. Oh my god. That actually worked. And all I need to do now is drop it down until that is approximately touching. Oh yeah, that's smooth. That's smooth to get up there. The only thing is this is off slightly. I want to push on this end. I want to push this way. Right? I need a vehicle. I need the tug. We need to give this thing a push. I'm going to fly up here. We're going to grab the ladder itself. And we're going to try to move it. No? Not enough thrust. You are probably way too strong, but you're like the only thing I have. Ugh. You had a pair of large thrusters in the back. Can you fly in moon gravity? Oh, you have a pair of large down. You probably can fly in moon gravity. Wait, let's see. Oh, wait, I don't have the dampers on. God damn it. Oh, my God, I'm a dumbass. You are peaking your power requirements, though. Ooh, you need another battery, probably. And also, your reverse sucks. Whoop! What broke? Oh, just a couple of pieces of the floor? That's fine. That's pretty well aligned! I mean, I can't place a block on either end. Oh, I can't place a block anyway because I have no materials. But I can't place a block there, but I can't place a block there. Yeah, I think I'm good enough. Unless I went in here and, like, used pistons and stuff like that, too. Like, absolutely, like, position this thing perfectly. I think this is probably pretty good. This thing is fairly well centered in this space, and it is nicely aligned. And then from here, what we can do is we can add a little signboard or something here, right? Right? Get the little text panels. We can add in... Oh, we can actually put a... part block here. Interesting. But we can put a little truss pillar, I believe. Yes. Okay. Truss pillar offset. So it allows me to have that out there. And then I can put a little panel here. Yes! Oh, yes, baby! And then I can have a little description of, like, this is the rover. It was built then. Sort of thing. Oh, perfection. And then off the little truss, I can have something. I can have the little truss light. No, it's not off-center truss light. We have to have a truss going back to the center slanted thing. And then I can put a truss light. That looks kind of cool. And then I can have a little text panel here describing what this thing is. All right, next up, I filled in this space here. We have what will go from here to the next spot here. And I do want to make this a bit more decorative. I like the idea of what's going on up here, with this being either 2 or maybe 3 tall. I think just 2. We could go light support base, that, and then a half block. That sort of gives it this sort of nice feeling to it, nice structure. I think that looks good. Like it's extra support. And then also here, that gives this a little bit of texture off of the staircase. And it covers up that annoying part of the staircase right underneath here. Yeah, perfect. Make that nice and pretty. This next area is going to be the badger. Let's go get it. And to make my life easy, I'm just going to do a little bit of creative here. I'm going to cut out the badger. And I'm going to fly back over here. And I'm going to paste it in. Because life is short. And I don't have the time for this. I just don't have the time for this. But we do have the option to drive it around a little bit and position it nicely. And give it a little bit of an angle. Pop it in here. Park it up. And I can think about how big do I want these little spots for these, right? I'm going to have railings around them. But do I want it to go, like, is it going to be like this? From here all the way to here? right? That whole space going to be just the Badger. In which case, it kind of should tuck it in a little bit, right? Pop into creative again, just to make my life a little bit easier again. I can tuck it a little bit further back towards the window. Centering it this way. Again, I will most likely connect this somehow, like with that one, so that it doesn't ever time out, because I'm probably... I'll just get rid of these extra batteries, because this is not what the Badger looked like throughout most of my adventure. I also need to bring out the Badger conglomerate anyway, because I need to cut those other bits off of it and use that in the future. But I should just spawn in the original Badger with the survival kit in the back. The Badger 1, I believe, was my finished version. Yeah, survival kit in the back, doing that. Uh-huh. This Badger, the Badger that made it all the way, we can put it over here. This fresh Badger. We can start him in position. And then we can go to free placement. Give him a bit of a, 45-degree turn. Tuck him in there as much as we can. Then the corner here will be for the production trailer, right? Ooh, yeah, we should get that in there, because it's going to need a little bit more space. I mean, potentially, I have that whole contraption sitting here across the corner, but I think I want to split it up. So I'm going to... Let's copy this whole shebang again, so I have spares. Just so if I need them, I can get them. And I think I sliced the trailer off here and here. Right? I just want the trailer. And I cut that out. And I can place that in here. Like so. I can tuck that into this corner because it's a bit tall. So it's solar panels are going to be sticking out. And I'm going to turn off those solar panel tracking. And then I'm going to try to tuck you in as close as I can into this corner. I can move you back much further there into position. And you'll fit perfectly in the corner. I honestly think that the drill rig might be the best option unless I go and freaking spawn myself in a specific little hauling ship right now just to get this work done. Oh, I bet the Firebird from Escape from... Oh, right, the whole boat's with it. I bet the Firebird from Escape from Typhoon could be able to carry you around nicely. I will do that. Yeah, this'll serve me well as a hauler to move shit around in this world. Nice hydropower. Strong ship. Alright. Now we can tuck this thing back into the corner here. As far as it's going to go. And now that's nicely tucked into the corner there. And we can go in here and... This thing has still... This refinery is still on... working on really old materials from way back in the day. That's hilarious. I think this one's good. Right there. Good parking spot. The other production trailer. And then we can just continue around with every spot having a different small contraption going around at different stages. Now, I think I can find a contraption for each one. Like, we have the Badger, the production trailer. I still might move it out a little bit more, but we'll see what if I want to do that in the future. We can have the little atmospheric miner, the scout, the gun carriage right over there, or even the, yeah, whatever order for those three. And then we can start talking about the big ship. But then there's like the little ion tug, and there's the two different assault drones, and I think we can fill it up with various contraptions. Maybe one larger contraption over here. Like, I'm not sure if we can fit one of these larger ships in here, but we can definitely, we could fit one of these guys. One of these guys would fit for sure. It's only got 2 downwards thrust though. I don't know if that's enough to fly on Moon. Well, we can always find out. Dampener's on. If I start falling once I turn off the connector, then I'm doomed. Nope, I'm fine. Yeah, we can park one of these in here. Yeah, one of these guys can be chilling back here in this corner. Oh, it's a very slow descent there. Oh my god. This guy could take up like 2 slots back here, like that. See? We also have to, oh my god, we have to put on all the Prototech stuff. It's not just contraptions. Oh, so there's so much we have to design here. I wonder if I have too much Prototech, if it would all fit across this back wall. Because I have my list of when I got each individual piece of Prototech. And I think that there is enough room here along this entire wall that I should be able to just sort of go pop, 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 and put them all on the line. And what I am going to do, for the sake of anyone who wants to download this save after I'm done this and I post it on the workshop, I am not going to cut the Prototech off that ship. I'm just going to spawn in new ones. So using my list that I have here, my Prototech encounters were episode 7, I got my only frame. So I should have some sort of table, or I guess a desk, a little desk in the corner, and I can do something like this as like a little pedestal, and then I can go and have a frame, which I can just spawn myself in one. And place a frame on that desk as like episode 7. This is the first thing I got. And I can have that on a truss here, explaining it like so. Potentially there, potentially move it somewhere else. Then episode 16 was the bio research facility, small refinery, and large drill. So, Prototech. We have a refinery small. So we'll probably want like a mag plate somewhere along here that I can plop that down on. I want it to be... Oh, I know another way I could do this is I could hang these descriptions from the ceiling. That would make life a little bit easier. Because this is going to be like a few blocks in, right? Because of the mezzanine. So I could theoretically hang things from the ceiling if I needed more space. But we will do a mag plate and then get a small refinery and drop it on said mag plate. Just Just going to make sure it's nicely aligned, and it keeps turning back into this large grid. Small refinery, large drill. Yep. Then after that, we have assembler, assembler. I guess we'll pull it somewhat, a little bit forward, so that way the drill isn't so, like, oh my god, sticking out. Pull this a block forward. And a small jump drive. And place it on the mag plate. Episode 24 was a storage facility, large jump drive, and 2 small batteries. So we'll do that. And then the thing down. And kind of the battery. And we'll just put a small battery here. Next up, we fought the Factorum warship. It gave us another large jump drive, which I'm not going to represent here. It gave us 2 large gyros, which were in part of the ship, and 2 small gyros, which were a loot in the cargo bay. So we will do 2 more mag plates. Actually, no, we don't need this mag plate. This is going to be a gyro and another gyro. All right. What is next? After we got the 2 gyros from fighting the Factorum warship, we did the logistics facility. We had the large refinery and the small thruster. Oh, that was the giant-ass facility. That one is actually really fun. That was the first time, because I captured the Factorum warship, I was able to go in with that warship and kick butt with it. So we got the refinery. I'm not able to rotate it that way. We'll have to rotate it this way. I still have plenty of space, though, which is good for laying out all these blocks. So, refinery and a small thruster. Takes up less space, too. After we got those 2 done, we did a storage facility. We got another large grid jump drive, and we scrapped 2 small batteries. Then we did a bio research. We found a small jump drive, which we kept. We had a large drill that was damaged. Episode 32, we had another assembler, which we scrapped. A small jump drive, which we scrapped. I believe I don't have that in my notes here. Episode 32 as well, we built a reactor. This was our first use of our frame. God, if I can use my words correctly. And we repaired a large drill. From there, we found the large thruster at the Factorum outpost. So large thruster is next. Prototech thruster. And I am probably going to have to, because this guy's way too big, we're going to have to orient him this way.
Energy low.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. And then we built manually a large battery. I'm going to turn you off so you do not cook anything. And then we built a battery. And holy crap, that actually pretty nicely fills up the space. What the hell? That's actually perfect. That's actually perfect. The back wall being a list of every single Prototech I got. This is in order. The Prototech that I got throughout the series. Starting off with just a tiny little frame on one of the planetary encounters. It all started from here. And then we got more. And more. And more. And more. And more. And eventually, we got it all. And I could maybe move this battery over slightly. And then I could have a little something right here. Because what I could do is I could have a text panel that could list like all the things that I captured, but I also scrapped. So I could list like plus like a couple assemblers, plus this, plus this, plus this, all scrapped. think that would be a good thing to have. And since I'm screwing around, spawning things in and doing stuff like that anyway... Oh, some steak dinner. I'm really liking that layout. So that cuts out this space all along here for contraptions. So we have Badger, then trailer, minor, scout plane, gun carriage, and then we're done. So this is sort of like the pre-game, right? This is my planetary fun to this. And then this is my progression through the series. And then on this side, I can do some of my, maybe my captures. Like, we'll have that thing sitting like right here. And then maybe some other, like this thing could be in the corner, this corner here, because this is going to be, I'm honestly thinking this is going to be my starting ship for my next series, because I actually really like the design of this thing and think that it might be a nice ship to use. That little mining ship is actually right up here. There's a copy of it here. So I can take this one off because I kind of need it to be out of the way. And I think it is the next up for things to place into position. Paste it in over top of the connector. It snaps into position. We'll give it a little bit of a rotation. We'll point it this way. Connected. It's atmospheric. It's not going anywhere in this atmosphere. That's for sure. Next up is the little scout plane. You're going to go in this space. I'm not going to make these any pretty or anything. Just going to get them into position, because that is all I am doing today. And you will go in this space. All right. There's a lot of open room down here. I might put some more stuff in this space. I'm not sure what. But I need to start thinking about the roof on this. I wonder, do I want to do a nice flat roof? I know I want to do a bunch of glass. I know for sure this roof is going to be a bunch of glass. I'm just not sure exactly how the shape is going to go. Whether I want it to just be the top of the roof is glass, or there's going to be like an arch to it or something. So I think I want to start in a corner and see how it looks, because I've set up this bar here to just be my glass bar, and I think I should put in some armor blocks as well, because there is the 1x2 faces that go like this. And what I'm thinking is I cut away this block in the corners and I give that the inverted corner. And then I can go 1x2 face. Ooh, no. Maybe I'll do something else down here. But we have this. This has to be higher. Right, because this is still the mezzanine here. This is still all the exhibits up top. So that's not going to be until a higher block level up here. Like this, right? So then this block would need to be inverted corner. This guy doing this, leaning back. And then how big can we get this? 2 by, these are all flats, 1x2 slopes. Is that my go-to? Going all the way around with 1x2 slopes? Am I potentially going to take this corner here and maybe slanted away somehow. I want to have this little bit of a lip here because I want a bit of space where I can put, say, some lights. Or do I want this to just taper off? Because what I could do is I could have this be like covered like this. Like this is sort of like an upper area. And then it's that upper central area that starts the roof. You know what I mean? So the roof would start here, back a few blocks, and go around. So you'd have this sort of tiered building where it would have like this sort of bottom area here, this main stuff. I can put some greeble along the side, and then it would come back, and then maybe it has another little bump, and then it has a big vaulted roof in the center. Because I could add a little bump here with a inv corner, then this block 8 there, and this can go all the way around with that one extra little block up, potentially even doing this. Ooh, because then you have that sort of clean angle, right? You're down here, you can see the bottom of the windows. It's not that block goes all the way up to there, blocks the bottom of the windows. You have that nice clean angle there. Or even potentially on the inside of here, instead of that being that angle, you could cut all this away, and it could be this kind of angle. Ooh. That might look kind of nice. The only thing we need to do is we need to ensure the corners are shored up, because they're what's going to anchor the roof. Because all along here, these are not connected, I don't believe. I believe they're airtight, but I don't believe that these are connected. So if I put another light armor tip on here, and then I try to go into this group here and try to do a 1x2 slope, yeah, I'm unable to place because there's nowhere to put it. I have to put it on the edge of this one to allow me to do that. So a little spicy, because that could break in the future. And I can go along the outside like this and like round off the corners like this and make that look good as well from the exterior portion of it. And then I just have to worry to make sure that the corners there are, all four of them are connected and holding the thing into position, and that I do not remove those corners under any circumstances, or the entire roof will cave in. But then from there, I think we just panel the entire roof. So we have the 6s, which is going to be the 3x2 flats, or 3x3 flats. So 3x3 flat inverted, and a real good question is whether or not this works out all the way across. So repeating this process back on the other side, let me just pull this across here and see. This has got to be directly over one back, so it is here. So this needs to go one more. And then this becomes corner. And then they have this, and then we have a corner. So then right here is where we have a face, and the tips need to align. And they are off by a block. Okay. So we need a single block, which we could probably get right here. So if I cut this section off and down this center line, I do something different. I can run a half block sized something all the way down the center, which I'll probably have to do a great big cross in the ceiling if all this is going to be equal on either side, and it'll all work out then. And I can do a different shape right here because this is the center of this. Oh, that entire side fell off. That is okay. Get rid of that. Where I can come down off of that potentially. Slant down and have a solid piece there instead. Yeah, I can have that sort of vault up over like that and become this sort of truss in the center to hold all the glass up. And then the slopes will have another thing that they can connect into. And then that will create a center piece that will come as well to here.
Energy low.
Don't want to deal with this right now, girl. I want to get this done, which I believe is aligned here. And then I can come back this way. And I believe this is aligned that way. And then we just do our glass in the center. And that can go over to there. And that can come to there. And it fits. And we just get a giant glass roof. Like so. And so that glass roof will be 4 pieces. There'll be this section, and then there'll be the crossbars in between, the 4 big pieces of glass. Oh, I really like that. When you're up here, you're sort of all covered up in your little mezzanine. You're looking down, you're looking into it. But when you're down on the ground here, and we're gonna have the you know, when you're looking out the window, you get being able to look fully out the window up into this angle because the angle of those. You get really good window access here. A lot of sunlight inside. Oh, that's going to work so well. Totally. Yeah, that's absolutely going to work amazing. And then I can really greeble the front of this. And then we have a giant roof section that will be nicely repeatable. Because I've made the building all one repeated size on the flooring with the 9x9 squares. Excellent! I think it might be the time for me to move this entire platform here up and over and potentially use this landing gear to like park it on that battery or on the peak of the roof here. Maybe. So I am definitely not going to get this entire museum finished in this episode. I've already been recording for 2 hours and I don't know how much has gotten into the episode. Maybe it's been like a 45-minute episode so far, but I've been making really good progress with all of the museum stuff, but there is just not enough time. The Sunday this episode comes out, I will later on in that day go live and work on this museum until it is done. Whether it takes me an hour or 5 or 7, I will just continue live streaming until this museum is in a state that I think it is worth leaving. And then I will take that and I'll upload it to the workshop, and then you guys can all come in and see the museum. But yeah, I think this museum is going to look really good. There's also the potential, what I could do is I could hang some stuff from the ceiling. So potentially this guy, instead of attaching him down here, what I could do is with these beams coming across is I can bring this beam across. Then at some point, I'll change this beam out from a half block to a full block, and then I'll put a connector on there, and then I'll put a connector on his roof, and I'll connect him to that, and he'll just be hanging there in the middle, and then I can just hang him right here. Make sure he's nicely aligned. Plug him in, and leave him there. And now we have a ship floating in the space. And something I saw while I was at that museum I was talking about in Prague was the fact that they had that as well, some things hanging from the ceiling. And what they did is on the mezzanine, when you looked, so you had all of the, because there would be this, and then there's going to be the, where is it? It's going to be here and there. So there's going to be like one of the episodes thumbnails is going to be right here. On this side of it, right here, they had a panel, and it would have some information on what was hanging in the open area. And so I can have some things hanging off of that truss at the 4 points, and I can have extra information about those ships and what they are and where I got them from. So potentially, I don't know, maybe it would fit. We do have the, we do have this guy. I wonder if he would fit in one of those trusses. Potentially have to rotate it slightly this way, which will be fine. Yeah, we can get this thing in here too. Look at that! Look at these giant contraptions we're going to have down in our museum, all hanging off the ceiling, looking cool, doing awesome stuff. This is really fun. I'm getting to see sort of the culmination of the entire series all in one spot. All of my contraptions, all of my builds, all of my treasures that I've gathered. And this is going to look really frickin' cool when I'm done with it. We're going to have all of my various builds along here, descriptions. I'm going to paint this entire thing, so it's all going to look really nice. We're going to have things hanging from the ceiling so you can walk around and look up on it. We'll have a bunch of other stuff. I have like some empty space here. I'm definitely going to put something there. I'm not sure what yet, but I'll find something. I'll go back in time and find like another version of the Badger with the like the refinery on the top of it, you know, stuff like that. I will find something and make this beautiful. But that's going to be it for now. When this releases, a few hours later, like 3 or 4 hours later, I will go live with a live stream. And when I'm done that live stream, I'll make sure that live stream is in the playlist for Prototech Pursuit so that you can go and watch the live stream right after finishing this series. But that is going to be it for now. This is the finale of Prototech Pursuit. The museum construction is well underway, and if you would like to, you can find this world in the workshop, visit the museum, and take the shipyard and fly off on your own adventure if you wish. But thanks for watching, and good hunting out there, fellow space engineers. And I hope that you tune in to my future adventures. I have a collaboration that is already 7 or 8 episodes deep in recording. And we're going to do a new series focusing on Apex Survival and trying to make things as harsh as physically possible for me. So that I die a lot. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and good hunting out there, fellow space engineers. I've got tons of stuff I can do, so why don't I just slap down a few... Whoa! Hello? Factorum workship. Start that over again. Unleash my building repairs. As they... Ah! What the fuck just happened? Alright, well, let's just get out of here. Should be able to undock. Whoa! Can I fit my... Oh! Jeez, ship! What the hell? I was right there! Whoa! Oh, God! Or do I clear the whole building? Boom! Wait, let's see. Oh, wait, I don't have the dampers on. God damn it. Welding disabled in safe zone. Fuck! Interior turret in the back there, that's still up. What? God damn it. Yeah, we've knocked over these storage facilities so many times. We know exactly what we're up against. Ow. Hello! Freaking thing spawns in right when I was fucking talking. Fucking hell. Ooh! Yeah! 1v1 me, bitch! Let's go! God, it's so big. God, it's so big. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, God damn it, I'm dumb. God. Alright. I'm done. I'm so done for the night. That'll do.